Hello, my most amazing artists. Today we're going to talk about the elements of art. The elements of art are the little things that you see when you look at a work of art. Think of them like the ingredients in a recipe. All of the ingredients are needed to make the recipe complete, just like all of these elements are needed to make a work of art complete. Let's start with these three elements of art: line, shape, and color. Line. Line is a mark made on a surface by a moving point. So, for example, when you make a line, you have to start with a point and then move your line to an end point. Lines can be curvy, lines can be straight, lines can be wavy, zigzag. They can also be vertical, horizontal, or diagonal. We'll talk about all these different types of lines in art this year. Shapes. Shape is an area that stands out because it has a defined boundary or change in color, value, or texture. Oof, that's a lot of complicated words. Really, what it just means is a line that is closed. A shape is flat. That means it does not have many sides. It only has one side. We call that two-dimensional. You can have geometric shapes. These are shapes that we know the names of, like squares, triangles, and circles, or organic shapes. Those are shapes that don't really have names. You see these a lot in nature. Color. Ooh, this is my favorite. Color is seen, did you know, only when light is reflected off of an object. So to see color, we have to have light. We will learn this year about the primary colors, the secondary colors, and all the colors in between in the rainbow. Next is texture. Texture is how something feels, or how an artist might look like something feels. So for example, in this lion that this artist drew, they used a lot of straight, sketchy lines to make the lion look furry or hairy. Next, form. Form is like shape, but it's a little bit different. Form is three-dimensional, so it means it has many sides. This is not a square, it's actually a cube. It has these three sides we can see, and then three sides in the back. These are some more forms, a cylinder and a sphere. You can see this object has two sides that we can see, and the sphere looks like it's rounded. Next is value. Value is the lightness or darkness of a color. So that just means when you have a color and you have different versions of that color, like dark and light versions of the color. For example, I can have a dark blue color, or I can have a light blue color. Finally, space. This is the last element of art. Space is the area around, above, or within an object. So for example, when I draw an object, I can draw objects closer or farther away. I can also draw objects in front or behind other objects. That makes the work of art look like it has lots of different types of space. All right, now that we know about the elements of art, our activity today is to go on an element of art scavenger hunt. You will have a blank worksheet that looks like this, with all the elements of art that we just learned about. Your goal is to go around your house or even outside of your house and draw these elements of art that you see. Let's look at my example. The first box says line. Now, we learned that lines could be straight, wavy, zigzag, curved, lots of different types of lines. When I looked out my window, I saw some power lines. They were very straight, so I drew the power lines. Some of them even crisscrossed each other. Next, color and value. I was looking around my house to find something that had a lot of color, so I saw some wildflowers. These are very warm colors, reds, oranges, and yellows. So I put them all together in their own picture to show a color scheme, warm colors. Next, texture. Texture, remember, is the way something feels. So look around your house. Do you see something that has an interesting feeling? Smooth, bumpy, hairy, rough? I looked out my window and I saw a tree with some interesting tree bark. So I drew these overlapping lines to show the bark of a tree. Next, form. Remember, form is not a shape. It's actually something that has many sides. So I'm just looking for an interesting object in my house. I saw a lamp. This might be kind of tricky for some of you to draw, but try your best. Draw an interesting object that you see. Space. Remember, space means when objects show different areas. So I'm trying to show space by overlapping these two cups. So I drew this cup first, and then I drew this cup behind this other cup to show that this one was behind and this one was in front. Try your best to show different types of space. Overlapping might be a good way to show space for this example for you. Finally, shapes. Draw some shapes that you know of. You can draw geometric shapes or organic shapes. Maybe if you look outside, you can find some interesting leaves. That would be an organic shape. All right, everyone. Have fun. I love to see all the details that you draw. You can use pencil, you can use crayons, or any other coloring supplies that you like. Have fun.